Check, 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 check. Check. Bring it down a little bit. Ah. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Why can't I hear it? Why can't I hear it? Why? Check. Check, check. Check, 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 check. Check. Check, 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 check. There we go. Check, check. The bright side of addiction is recovery. And recovery is an American way of life. Hi, everyone. I'm Neil Scott. If you are new to our podcast, by golly, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. And if you are in recovery, or maybe you know or love someone who is, or you simply want to know more about the recovery process, or maybe you're a bit concerned about someone you know or love who is harmfully using alcohol or any other drug, this is the podcast for you, as we carry the message of hope and the promise of recovery. And a reminder, you can find all of our podcasts at recoverycoasttocoast.org. Recent episodes have featured an archived interview with former First Lady Betty Ford that I did over 45 years ago. Singer-songwriter Bonnie Raitt and singer-songwriter Judy Collins, plus author Anne Lamott, and many other prominent people in long-term recovery. Plus conversations with everyday people in long-term recovery, sharing their story, their insight, and their path. On today's program, we're going to take you down to Corvallis, Oregon, where we catch up with Rekha. Now, she's a woman who understands the journey she was on and was painted with the brush of persistence and resilience. She found recovery by climbing over countless obstacles. Here is a quick clip from today's program with Rekha.
I would steal something and then go outside and drink it behind a bush just to maintain, because I needed to have it. My body said, you need to have this or you are going to die. Honestly, that is what my body was telling me. And my brain was confirming what my body was telling it, that, she needs to have this or she is going to die. So recovery is very, very sacred to me, and I will not give it up for anybody or anything.
And later in the podcast, on The Last Word, award-winning actor Ed Begley Jr. explains why, in an emergency, it's good to break the glass. That's how he found recovery. He'll explain that later in the podcast. Our website is Recovery Coast to Coast. And if you'd like to help us out financially, you can buy me a cup of coffee if you'd like. Virtually, of course. Once again, go to our website, recoverycoasttocoast.org. Click on the tab Donate, and you can do that by buying me a cup of coffee there or donating via PayPal. Pretty simple, and I would greatly appreciate it. A reminder, our email address, if you want to get in touch with me, and I'd love to hear from you, is recoverycoasttocoast@comcast.net. I would, again, love to hear from you. Recovery Coast to Coast, supported by Sundown M Ranch, one of America's oldest, least expensive, and most successful treatment programs. In fact, they're listed in Newsweek magazine's recent list of America's top treatment providers. You know, it amazes me that there are so many inpatient treatment centers around the country, and the number seems to keep on growing. And sadly, quantity does not mean quality. And I'm noticing a lot of the newer treatment centers are positioning themselves as luxury treatment centers with many of the amenities of a five-star resort. I don't know about you, but I don't know of any cancer centers or heart or diabetic programs that advertise themselves as luxury treatment for the disease. And the cost of treatment at these luxury alcohol and drug centers often astronomical. Treatment for addictive disease is serious and quite often life-saving. Sundown M Ranch has been successfully treating individuals and families for nearly 60 years, and the results speak for themselves. As far as cost goes, Sundown's rates are among the lowest in the country. There are lots of reasons for this, including the fact that, well, number one, Sundown M Ranch is a not-for-profit treatment center. Their bottom line, patients' individual recovery. It's not financial. They also own their own land, which helps keep costs low. They're located at the mouth of the beautiful Yakima River Canyon in central Washington state, not far from Seattle. And their staff, top-notch. And their program, it adheres to best practices. If you're looking for a successful treatment program, certainly do your research, but definitely keep Sundown M Ranch in the mix. To find out more about Sundown M Ranch, visit their website where you can take a look at their treatment philosophy and see photos of their facility. It's where recovery begins. Sundown.org. It's coffee and conversation time again, and today we're going to have a candid conversation with Rekha, sober for just over 2 years, and she's in her early 50s and has had an intense struggle, but has managed to put one foot in front of the other and found her way into the rooms of recovery. Let's listen now to my conversation with Rekha. We are back in Recovery Coast to Coast, and we are heading down to Oregon. I believe it's Corvallis, and maybe she can correct me if I'm wrong, and visiting with Rekha, who's got a couple of years in the program. Rekha, how are you today?
I am very well, thank you.
Is it Corvallis?
It is Corvallis, yes.
Oh, lovely, lovely area.
Beaver Nation.
Rekha, you've been sober for a couple of years now, but my understanding is you spent a little bit of time at the Milestones Women's Recovery Program. What was that like?
It was, well, everything was very new to me. I was thrown into this sort of situation where I needed to be in a program and I needed to work on things on a legal side and on a personal side. Yeah. And so Milestones just, I don't know, kind of happened. One of the few places in Corvallis that inpatient as well as outpatient recovery situations. So I did outpatient. And that was interesting. It was definitely an eye-opener for me around in a place that was completely foreign to me, people that I normally would never have been a part of or been next to or been in a class with before. It was very much an uncomfortable at first situation. Plus, I didn't know what was expected of me, which was quite a learning.
How bad did it get for you, Rekha, the drinking?
It was really bad. Really, really bad. So I'm 53 now, and so I started this sobriety journey a little bit later in life. Spent pretty much my whole life taking it or leaving it until I couldn't anymore. I couldn't stop drinking. It had consumed me, and I had to have it in my system, or I would be sick physically. Yeah. But on the other side, I'm a mother. I'm a member of the PTA. I have a household to run. I work part-time. This was when, it all came to a head. If you'd say, I drank when I was at work. I'd leave it in my car because I could not have it in my system, or I would be very sick.
Did anyone say to you, Rekha, you need to do something about your drinking or talk about your behavior while you were drinking?
Nope. So my partner, the father of my youngest child, three of us were living, we're still together. He and I have been together for 14, 15 years. He was rather I don't know what the term is. I'm not supposed to say reason, but our relationship, I fell into alcohol to survive it. I had asked him numerous times for us, because he's also an alcoholic. Several times I asked him if we could do counseling together, and he would say no. But yeah, nobody had said anything to me, even at work. I guess, come to find out, there were little talks about it, but nobody ever was concerned enough. I guess I was fooling them in maintaining or just showing up, or I don't know, but it had never been approached to me until my partner, father of my son, had me arrested at home for a DUI.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. It was funny. And that's just how it all came to start.
What were the circumstances around the DUI and your partner calling the police?
I was taking care of my mother, who I had to put in a nursing home at the end of 2022. And then she passed away in 2023. And it was really hard for me. I had been the only one there, kind of taking care of things, visiting her, doing things. I was still, doing her laundry, checking in with her. She was unable to walk, so she was in a bed a lot or in a wheelchair. She was never hooked up to anything. Her brain was still very sharp, and it was just her body that was given out. So it was really hard when she passed away because, we were just talking the day before.
Oh, my goodness.
So my body went into a shock that I didn't realize. So that increased what happened was, I'm still maintaining the same amount of alcohol daily. So then after that, I was put on an antidepressant, but still trying to maintain the same amount of alcohol on a daily basis. And that is when I couldn't do that anymore. The alcohol was combined with the antidepressant was changing me.
So tell me about the DUI.
So because of this, I had told people, I told my adult children that something in my brain broke. Something's not right. I'm not there. I told people this and I didn't know what to do or how to go about it, but I'm like kind of asking. So one day I finally had enough because my partner said he was going to go to Portugal or some fucking weird thing. And not without me, without our son. And then like the next day I had enough. I had a breakdown. I had a literal mental breakdown, and I went to where he works, and he works with his family. So his mom was there and he was there, and I told them I needed help. They didn't understand or they didn't want to. So when I left and went back home, that's when the police showed up. They were out driving around looking for me, but I was home.
That's interesting that you would get a DUI in your own home.
Yeah, it's just someone has to say they saw you.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. And that's what they did, and his mom backed him up. And the funny thing is I hadn't even started drinking yet.
Oh, boy.
I had just had, my pills, my antidepressant. But,
So how did this lead to the Milestones program?
Well, that's how with my mother passing in 2023, getting this DUI early 2024, February, I did have money from what she had left. So I was able to retain an attorney because at this time also my partner kicked me out of our family home, and he's the one that has all the assets. They're all in his name. I just never thought that to not have everything in his name. I didn't think that was ever going to be an issue. Hindsight happens, and I just never thought, anyway, it doesn't matter. So I retained an attorney, and he told me to, before anything started about DUI work, to just put myself into a recovery place, just get it started, get a jump on it. And that's when I chose Milestones out of the couple in town that were accessible to me, that I could ride a bike to, that I could get to without any problems. I really took it seriously. I really found out a lot about myself. I figured out a lot from the ladies that are there. And I just cannot say enough about these young women with children and what they have to go through and what they do on a daily basis, what they need and what they do accomplish. It's just amazing. And it was so uplifting for me. Here I am, I'm 50, something, and I'm in here. I'm the oldest person in there, and I'm learning from these young people, and it's making me think back or how, if I had caught something earlier or, something, if I had, not been so prideful, if you will, or ego driven, how it could have been, but it was just amazing. I only, like I said, I did the outpatient, but I did everything there was outpatient. So classes all day long, Monday through Saturday. Wednesday we had off because that was for inpatient people. So I went to all of the classes. I joined all the groups, even if it was kind of the same thing, just to be around the ladies in the program, as well as the counselors.
Mutual support is certainly important, and I assume that at Milestones you were introduced to the 12-step fellowship.
That is. Oh, my goodness. And, it's funny because you hear a lot in AA how people say, it was, a nudge from the judge sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Mine was not. Mine was absolutely from one of the gals that I was in Milestones with, and she just came up to me. I had no idea anything about AA, right? And she just came up to me one day after class and said, if you want to, you should try this AA at this church. She gave me the directions and she said, go at this time. It's every day. You'll really like it. It's really fun. And so one day I did, and I never left after that day. It was an eye-opening experience. Going in, not knowing what to expect, not having any expectations actually at that time. Pretty numb, still also trying to maintain my ego. It was rough. It was bumpy. It was terrible. It was uncomfortable and wonderful all at the same time. And I stayed and I never left and became a very avid member of AA.
What was that first 6 months like for you in the program?
Oh my goodness. It was horrible and wonderful. And probably only because I could say wonderful now. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it was mostly just horrible. I had a lot going on in my personal life, as well as trying to maintain sobriety, because I had not done anything sober in a very long time. Feelings, that was what I was doing. I was drinking to push those feelings down in my relationship. But in the meantime, I needed to maintain drinking or I would get sick. So no matter whatever was going on in my life, I had to have a drink. Learning in that first 6 months to not drink, but to feel was really difficult. And I was trying to figure out how to not have this person take my son away from me, how to find a place to live. I was homeless, how to earn money because everything takes money. It was a lot that first 6 months. It was a lot and it was scary. Independently, I was alone until I went to those meetings. Then I didn't feel alone.
They loved you until you could learn to love yourself.
I didn't even realize that's what they were doing. They say that a lot. I say that a lot, but I didn't actually realize what that meant, because it's not the love that you would expect to see. It wasn't like visual in your face. I don't know. It's a different kind of, but yeah, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Going back to Milestones, it's a women's program. Do you feel that helped you being around women rather than being in a mixed group?
Honestly, I don't know, but it did definitely help me with my relationships with women. I've always felt awkward around women for whatever reason, something I'm still working on within myself. So I was always awkward around women, felt, I don't know, less than or whatever. But yeah, absolutely being around women helped me to be around women.
Were you able to get a sponsor early on?
I didn't. Oh my goodness, I shouldn't even say it. And I say this a lot. I did my AA program not the way they suggest, not at all. Because it took me a long time to get that first step. So easy to say, yeah, duh, I'm an alcoholic. Look, I mean, I just got all this trouble and I'm homeless and blah, blah. It's easy to say it, but to really, really know it and know what that means took me a while. I needed to really take AA in for a long time, just go to meetings. I went to sometimes 3 meetings a day, just riding, and I had to ride my bike all around town to these meetings. And I had to do it religiously for it all to really sink in. My brain was first of all, my brain was completely mush when I started the program, just mush. So it took a long time for things to sink in or for me to get things. And it took a long time for me to open up a little bit and to not be so protected, because in my life, I felt, and I still kind of do, feel that when I'm vulnerable, that's when people come in and take advantage, or they come in and they hurt me. My program, I did not get a sponsor right away. I needed to go to AA for a long time first before I could even begin to think about a sponsor or who I would even want that to be. But I did eventually get a sponsor, but I was probably a good bunch of months in first before I did get that sponsor.
Now, you're a mom. You have 2 children or 1?
I have 3.
You have 3 children. What is the relationship like today with those 3 children?
Well, my oldest children are 32 and almost 31, and we are having a very strange relationship. They helped my ex get me out of my home, and they helped my ex take my son away from me. So we are not, we're still on having a strained relationship. They don't talk to me. They don't check up on me. They haven't really been around me at all.
Do they know that you're in a program of recovery?
Yeah, they know. And I had asked them at milestones on Saturdays. It would be like a family Saturday, and that would be a day that we could have family members come in and have a true, dialogue, open, honest dialogue with them. With one of them, I don't know if I am allowed to say anything, but with this gentleman who's just wonderful. He's been on your program before.
That wouldn't happen to be Chicano Don.
Yes, actually, that is Chicano Don, who is the reason why I'm speaking with you. So they knew, and they had the opportunity. I had asked them on many occasions to come down and talk with me at milestones with, Chicano Don there is kind of like the mediator person, but also the one to guide us through the feelings, to be open and honest about how we felt, what had happened, what had transpired, what is coming of it. And they never wanted to do it. Many times I asked them to go to AA with me, and neither one of them have ever gone with me to an AA meeting. For a long time, I had the Saturdays program at an AA meeting here. For the second Saturday of the month was a speaker meeting, and that I would chair, and I would ask them to come to those, come to the potluck, listen to the speaker, and neither of them have ever shown. My youngest son, he is the one that I had with my most recent partner that I was with for so long. He didn't even know anything. So to him, he got completely screwed. He's the one that got screwed because all of a sudden his mom was there one day, the next day she's gone, never to have him again. He didn't know anything. He didn't know I was drinking. He didn't know that there was a problem at all. He didn't know anything. So to me, I'm just mom.
How old is he? How old is he now?
He's 15 now. He was 12 when this happened.
So there's a lot of things to repair in Rekha's life. And it sounds like you're on the track to repairing all of those things.
I am. I am trying desperately. My son's in therapy also, just because of that bond that was ripped apart without him having any explanation or knowing anything. He basically had to relearn what to do without, me there to guide him as a parent through a really hard part of life for a young boy. But yeah, he and I are close, and I'm working with my daughters. I'm not trying to push them. I don't know what they're not very clear on what they want from me or don't want from me. So I'm just treading,
Yeah.
lightly.
As they say, time takes time.
Time takes time.
Let
you
me
know, but-
let me ask you this, Rekha. What does recovery mean to you today?
Oh, freedom. Honestly, real freedom. The ability to think and speak, feel the things that I do without having to mask them or hide them. The ability to feel them without needing to drink. To not being so imprisoned by that alcohol. When it was bad at that end, it was really bad. I was stealing it when I didn't even need to steal it. I was yelling at people in stores if they carded me and I didn't have my license because I had just gotten in trouble or something. It was awful. It was terrible. I would steal something and then go outside and drink it behind a bush just to maintain because I needed to have it. My body said, you need to have this or you are going to die. Honestly, that is what my body was telling me. And my brain was confirming what my body was telling it, that, she needs to have this or she is going to die. So recovery is very, very sacred to me. And I will not give it up for anybody or anything. I worked hard for it. I've worked hard to be where I am right now, and I am still working. And that is because of sobriety. That's because of AA. I'm very grateful. I am now a certified recovery mentor.
Wow.
So I am working at Acme Counseling here in Corvallis. I get to work with people like me, and I get to help them and help myself all at the same time. And it's wonderful. It's amazing.
I always say that recovery begins with hope. Your story and sharing it with us has instilled hope in many others who will listen to your story and say, well, gosh, if Rekha can do it, maybe I can do it as well.
Oh, my goodness. Yes, that is absolutely true.
I wish you continued recovery one day at a time, one meeting at a time, one growth experience at a time.
Thank you so much.
I hope you've enjoyed my conversation with Rekha, who was loved by others until she was able to love herself. An inspiring story. By the way, I want to remind listeners of this podcast, if you would like to tell your story of recovery, regardless of the path you've chosen, and as long as you've been in continuous recovery for a year or more, drop us a note at recoverycoasttocoast@comcast.net. Now, coming up next, today's last word. And on the last word today, we have award-winning actor Ed Begley Jr. explaining why, in an emergency, he broke the glass and found recovery. We'll do that in just 30 seconds.
Alcohol is running your life. You want help, but can't take time away from work to get it. Where do you turn? Contact Sundown M Ranch. Sundown M Ranch outpatient programs have helped thousands recover from addiction without losing time on the job. Nationally recognized for innovative, effective, and affordable treatment programs, Sundown M Ranch will help you put your life back on track. Go to www.sundown.org to learn more.
And now, as promised, actor and a man in long-term recovery, Ed Begley Jr.
I was still a practicing alcoholic, practicing philanderer, a gambling addict. When I finally got so bad I had the DTs and I just didn't know where to turn, I went, oh yeah, that thing I put in the back of my wallet, because it just said Alcoholics Anonymous, 213-385-2600, or whatever the number was back then, central office. I cut it out and pasted it into my wallet with a piece of tape. Why did I do that? Well, we both know why I did it. I wanted to have, as I have in a hallway of a school or many office buildings, in case of fire, break glass. Pull the lever hard and the alarm will sound. There was a fire blazing called alcoholism, and I needed to pull that alarm, which I did, went into recovery, and here we are many years later.
Well, that wraps up this edition of Recovery Coast to Coast, the national podcast. If you have enjoyed our podcast, I urge you to please share it with others. And if you'd like to get in touch with me, our email address is recoverycoasttocoast at comcast.net. I'd love to hear from you and hear your opinions on what you think of the program. Also, please hit the subscribe or follow button. It's free, and you'll be notified the next time we publish a podcast. If you'd like to help us out financially, we'd be lovingly appreciative. Please click on the Donate tab on our website, recoverycoasttocoast.org, where you can buy me a cup of coffee. If you're considering treatment for a friend or a loved one, be sure and visit NAATP.org/AID, the Addiction Information Directory, a listing of those treatment programs that adhere to the strict ethical guidelines, such as Sundown M Ranch. And join us next time for America's Voice for Recovery, Recovery Coast to Coast, the national podcast. And another shout out to our sponsoring organization, Sundown M Ranch, where recovery begins. Sundown.org. I'm Neil Scott, reminding you to stay healthy, live in gratitude, and be kind to others. Remember, the bright side of addiction is recovery. Pass it on.